request our industry experts, technology experts. There are 5 technology experts with their presentation on the innovations and initiatives they have done for providing technology to banks, especially cooperative banks. So these presentations will be under the topic leveraging technology driving cooperative banking. I'll request all these presentators to please watch out for the time limit, to please respect the time limits of 8 to 10 minutes, so that we can, after 5 presentations, we can have a good Q&A with the audience also, and then we can proceed towards next session, and then on time we all take the lunch. So with this, I request Mr. George Varghese, who is Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Vsoft Technologies, to please come on stage for this session, which is a bunch of presentations, and please join us. And a round of applause for Mr. Varghese, please, from Vsoft. So please take your seat. And then I request Mr. Abir Banerjee, Vice President of SIFI Technologies, to please join us on stage to talk about leveraging technologies for driving cooperative banking. And then I request Mr. Rishikesh Jadhav, Regional Sales Manager of Array Networks India, to please join us on stage. Round of applause for Mr. Jadhav from Array. I request Mr. Gautam Garodia, who is the CEO of Comsur, to please come on stage for this session. Okay, he's outside. Please, I request my team to please invite Mr. Garodia here in the hall. And then I request Mr. Vivek Tuljapurkar, Vice President, Research and Development of Quick Heal Technology Private Limited, to please join us on stage. A round of applause for our speaker from Quick Heal. And I'll wait for Mr. Garodia to join us. Okay, so now I request Mr. Varghese, Mr. George Varghese, Vice President of Vsoft Technologies, to do a technology presentation, please.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to this Cooperative Banking Summit. What I'm going to talk about today essentially is, something that is going to change the way in terms of, banks are looking at technology. This is the way that, we are going to be, adapting newer technologies. There are more channels coming in. So we are looking at, basically something called banking. Now, what is multi-channel banking? As you all know, that we first, from the banking perspective, other than your branches, it slowly moved out to the ATM. Then you brought in, internet banking. You had IVR or call center-based, banking, telephone banking, and nowadays everybody is talking so much about this mobile banking. But what are the issues that typically get faced with these channels that we have? It is, as a bank, you will be managing multiple systems, you will be managing multiple different technologies, and it is not so easy as, the banking gets more complex, the number of channels get more complex. It is not going to become easy to be able to manage this from a technology perspective. All kinds of, issues will be faced. I am sure everybody in this, banking technology summit, all the bankers here, even if they have already deployed a solution like this, will understand that, from an IT perspective, from a management perspective, there are challenges that they are facing, right? So which means, you have multiple systems to manage, as I was talking about, there'll be various reconciliation issues, and then these two multiple channels don't really talk to each other, so the handoff of information between this is not, easily managed, and which is where we are talking about something called omni-channel banking. Omnichannel banking is a concept that has, grown over the last couple of years, and this is a product that we have actually launched in India very recently. we have a very strong focus in the cooperative banking segment. So this is something that is going to make the customers of the banks realize that it is much easier to use these varied channels today as opposed to what the current experiences that they have. And why is this? For the simple reason is that India is getting younger, right? If you look at the statistics, a large percentage of our population is less than 45 years of age, right? And what is it that they are actually asking for and demanding? Because all the millennials, as we call them, the people in the range of around 18 to 45, they are basically the youth who are adapting to technology, who are using these various new channels to the maximum effort. You will find less and less of them coming to the physical brick and mortar branch. It does not mean that because cooperative bank, because you have a very, very strong approach towards relationship-based banking, you have a very strong approach towards community-based banking. That is slowly, technology and all the introduction of these various channels is making it more easier for people to actually access banking, and something like this is what all of them are looking for. Now, I'm sure that when you look at teenagers today to young adults, 20, 25, you will always see them on the phone, walking around like this as though they're actually doing something. They could be on social media. They could be your Facebook or your Twitter account or whatever. They could be doing any other thing. They could be recharging their mobile. They could be making a purchase on Flipkart or Amazon or something. So mobile and all the associated technology associated with that is something that has been very easily and very quickly been adapted to by this generation. So what does all that mean, basically? They want something that is, they can connect to easily. They also they have their own demands in terms of what they need, in terms of, wanting more help. They adapt to, non-financial entrants like, your Paytm, mobile wallets today everybody is talking about. Valuations of mobile wallets are going through the roof. Paytm is actually doing significant amount of business in this country today. So, right? And their expectation is that their banking provider should be far more proactive. Fine. If there are 100 banks represented here today, let me say that all 100 banks have internet banking, mobile banking, call center, ATM, all of this. What we are talking about is one single system that will encompass all of this and provide a single experience to the end user. Right? So that is exactly what the bank is. The new millennials are expecting from a thing. If I am working on a mobile device or I'm working on a any other device, I should be able to use this. This is just a statistics to show you that what's the growth of mobile banking in India. It has gone to significant levels from the time that it got introduced a few years back. In the last 2 years, it has almost tripled as of Jan this year. So this is a channel that is being adopted very quickly. Banks should take cognizance of this and try and increase the user experience, which will benefit the bank from a perspective of transactions and from the perspective of the business. So what is our omni-channel platform? Basically, it's a device agnostic and platform agnostic and resolution agnostic application. So like any internet banking, I mean not internet, like any mobile banking, it's available anytime, anywhere. Okay? But there are significant differences from the fact that it is the same service across all your devices. And as I was saying, as I was saying, irrespective of the device that you use, whether you are using it from your house, whether you are using it on your tablet or your phablet, or you are using it on your mobile phone, the user experience remains absolutely and totally consistent. You can add on a whole host of benefits and functionalities onto that same platform that gives the the user the entire banking capability on any kind of device sitting anywhere. So this is what I was talking about. You have it could be on a desktop, it could be on a tablet, it could be on a large phablet or a mobile phone. The experience is exactly the same, and there is no change in terms of things. So it makes it much easier From a user perspective, internet banking, State Bank of India has got a completely different experience. If I download the mobile phone app, it has got a completely different experience. I don't want to spend time to learn. This makes it much easier. So all the standard feature functionality that you expect from a banking perspective is available on this. Your accounts, you can do all the standard transactions from a personal banking side or from a business banking perspective. All the standard feature and functionalities are there. The other features, we have all multi-factor authentication. A lot of security has been built into the product so that, gives the bank the assurance that, there is not going to be any fraud on this. Administration modules allow the bank to, go ahead and do this, back-end administration of the entire application. But here is one completely unique thing we have added onto this, right? RBI has very recently given the green signal to go ahead. Now, I'm sure everybody here knows, what check truncation is, right? You're no longer sending a physical item for clearing. It is actually the image of the check and the data associated with it, which is going for clearing. So it has now become an electronic clearing system in a sense. RBI has recently given us green signal saying that you can even deposit your check using your mobile phone. You take a picture of your check, capture the details, and zap it off to your bank. Your bank will do the further processing and send it for clearing. Now, that is something that has been built into this omni-channel product of ours as well. That's a solution that we have. We have more than 40,000 customers in the US who are using this product, and that has been introduced into India recently. We have interacted with RBI, and RBI has given us the green signal to go ahead and push this thing. So this is an additional feature and functionality that is given to you for your customers to be able to use. Sitting at home, he can actually deposit the instrument. So typically, he will capture the image of the check. He will go ahead and enter the data, the front and the back, and he sends it off to the bank, and he gets a confirmation from the bank saying, yes, we have received this item. Making banking easier is all what this easier and more convenient is what this is all about, right? All the other things like, check requests and, auditing and, so on and so forth, I will not spend time because these are all standard features, but then it's available as something that, from a banker's perspective, it is all of these are available. You can also, give the same thing to your customer service representative. They have access to the various different modules to be able to, answer any question if they need to, whether on the IVR system or through the mobile that they have provided for them. All the standard reports in terms of how it's been functioning, whether it's been working okay, how many people are using it, what are the locations. If you start geotagging, today is another buzzword that everybody's talking about, geotagging. You can start geotagging, enable the mobile phone to be, GPS enabled. You can geotag which location is your customer coming from. All of those data also can be captured to the system. You can put your own branding. That allows you to go ahead and not only push your bank's brand as such, but we can also push your various products and services that the bank offers. One of our customers who has already launched this product for their customer in Mumbai is the Sri Arihant Cooperative Bank, which is a medium-sized bank that is based out of Mumbai. They have already launched this, and there's been a significant appreciation from their customer base. This is more in terms of branding, where all you can go ahead and add your bank's products and features. Here's another advantage. We're talking about regional language support. You want this to be available to your customers in Marathi, it's readily available. You want it in any other language, Kannada or Hindi, you have a choice of going ahead and doing that. So if you're a multi-state bank and you have branches in other locations that require, let's say in Hyderabad, you want it in Telugu, we can provide that for you. And easy integration to your existing core banking application. Irrespective of what your current back-end host system is, who your provider is, we can do the integration because it is standard APIs we have created for this. Right? So all the transactions, everything can be in real time as well. You want to integrate into Paytm, you want to integrate into your other channels that you have. That integration also makes it, we have standard APIs that make it very easy for you to do that. So as I was talking about, single application, multiple devices, multiple channels, all supported under, on one platform. So that's all about the product. A very, very brief, 2 or 3 slides about who we are, essentially. We've been in the banking space for about 20 odd years, and we have significant customer base in the US. India, we have more than 300 banks, across the various kinds of banks, public sector banks, private sector banks, urban cooperative banks, district banks, etc. We are headquartered out of Hyderabad, and we have support centers also in various locations. These are some of the products that we have got. We have got, the entire suite of products for banks, from core banking. We have got, a priority sector lending solution, which is basically the Kisan loan system. We have solutions for automation of primary agricultural credit societies. We've got omni-channel banking, as I just talked about, eKYC, AML, customer onboarding platform using a, mobile or a tab-based thing. Entire suite of payment systems, from, remote deposit capture to mobile deposit to, check truncation, mandate management, and ACH system. These are some of the customers that we have who are using the various products and services. We offer our products on a services model also, which is on a per transaction basis too, not just in terms of selling the solution to the bank. That's about it. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Verghese, for this technology presentation. And we hope the several banks and financial companies are your partner. We hope that you get to meet so many people here also who can explore opportunities with you. Now I request again to speakers to please wrap your address within 10 minutes so that you can have some Q&A interaction with the audience also. So with this request, now I invite Mr. Abir Banerjee, Vice President of SIFI Technologies, for the presentation. Please welcome him with a round of applause.
So, thank you. It has been so heartening and I would say encouraging since morning to hear about technology adoption and digitization, right, in the cooperative banks. 5 years back, right, the word cloud would have had a different connotation, right, with the banks or the banking fraternity. It's so encouraging to hear that, especially from Dr. Ramashastri. We have been hearing RBI, right, with the induction of shared services models of computing. And therefore, I wouldn't like to use the word cloud, a pretty broad-based word, and therefore it at times gets abused, right, or misused. Necessarily what I want to talk to you, in the next 10 minutes is to talk about a form of rendering banking services which would be on an infrastructure that you need not own, you need not invest on, but use it just like any of your other utility services. You grow the IT as you grow, right? You use it on a model where you need not invest on your own hardware, on your own space, on possibly some of the people that you would like to use. Allow this to be run from a different place on a completely secured manner, on a way which is dedicated to you, and yet is running from a completely separate environment. What we are trying to establish through this is to give you a shared services model of banking, a completely different perspective. This is in line with what IDC has been talking about, the third platform. 10 years back, possibly or 15 years back, when the first phase of core banking happened in this country, right, with the likes of the public sector banks, SBIs or Bank of Baroda's or Bank of India's. The times have changed. Third levels of refreshers have happened. And as we move forward, as banking has become more matured, as technology has improved, we are seeing this propensity among the banks to really move out of the traditional models of banking. What had been the traditional models of banking? have more CPUs, have more hardware, have more space, have more power, have more cooling, more people, more licenses. Current banking and the way to address your system for you to grow, and IT grows with you, is to give you a model which would be more elastic in nature, more on-demand in nature, and then therefore needs to be operated by specialists who can run it on a separate model. And what is that model? We call it, instead of saying it's a cloud model, I would rather like to put it as a community banking, right? A community cooperative banking for you. And I'll tell you the reasons why I'm talking with this confidence, why this country is on the cusp of something different, to look at banking and banking operations from a completely different perspective. And let me also make you this point that howsoever we speak, technology is not banking. Technology is just the enabler for your banking. You need to run your services, right? Seamless, transparent, with almost 100% uptime. And how do you do that? This is a very simplified model of the way we are offering core banking services. Why I talk with this confidence? Because we have been a leading player in this particular space. In Bombay, if you see into this small architecture, right, without making it too complex for all of us to understand, especially to the bankers that you are here, you would essentially see that you need to have at least one primary location from where you can run this computing, right? And then you need a second location because business continuity becomes so very important. The moment you are dependent on technology, on a centralized architecture, business continuity becomes an important criteria for you. And the moment we talk about business continuity, it's just not about technology. It's about the process, the people, the escalations, how to handle a disaster, everything comes into play. If a disaster happens, how to go back to your data center, the primary center. So, and then therefore the story, as it is, we tend to use it very commonly, is to use this secondary site or this disaster recovery site from possibly a separate seismic region, right? Why? Because in the event of a failure, you are still completely available, okay? The moment you do that, you need to have a completely suite of managed services that you need to run with, right? Because this entire infrastructure needs to be managed, needs to be monitored, right? Give it to the specialists. What I'm trying to tell you here is that this compute that I'm giving you is going to run from my data center on a very secured model, right? And I'm giving it to you on a shared services model. Essentially, it's a pay-per-use or an OpEx model that we would like to put it. You need not invest. You use it over a period of 5 years, right? And use this compute on an on-demand basis. As and when you want to, you can scale up, you can scale down. It's very elastic in nature. And it's something which we have been offering. Then comes the question of your secondary location, right? A secondary location is necessarily more from a compliance perspective and also from your branding perspective, because in the event of a failure in the disaster in the primary center, what are you going to do? What are you going to live with? So you need to have a completely 100% replica of your primary center? The answer is no. Service providers like us can offer you on a completely different model. You need not invest on your 100% of your capex, 100% of the infrastructure, because disasters can only happen once, twice, thrice in a year. Ideally, it should not happen. So why invest on a complete infrastructure which is lying there idle for you? You rather use it on a per day basis, on a per month basis, and therefore the cost comes down, which is something so very important for you. You need to have an optimized banking infrastructure and use and bring down the cost, right? You need to spend more on innovation, lesser on business as usual. Now, the other important aspect, besides the fact that you are running it on a community model, right, is something which I call doorstep banking. Now, what is doorstep banking? As Mr. Verghese said earlier, right, he was talking about delivery of the content at the end, and we are creating the content for you, right? But this country, for all its goods and bads, I think we actually have a complete completely a boundary between what I call the digital haves and the digital have-nots. We are still poor on connectivity. And that's why you need players and service providers who can provide you connectivity right up to the last mile through multiple forms of channel, but you still need to have an optimized delivery of the services. And that is where doorstep banking can become important for you. Whether the bank goes to the house or the person comes to the bank, that's more important. As we talk about the way our government is promoting on banking for everybody, there has to be a model of providing doorstep banking. And how that can happen? Once you have the content in your data center, it needs to be transported on an optimized, secured manner. And therefore, that's where tab banking comes into play. Right? Who's going to manage this entire show? The tabs, the mobiles, the branches, right? The data center, the DR, right? It seems to be a big, that's again a shared services model of service delivery needs to be taken care of instead of you running it on a dedicated model. Okay? So, essentially what I wanted to tell you, through this is that you need to have a Make in India story who will be able to help you deliver banking services till the last mile, ensure that you are running with almost a near 100% uptime, right? Having all the blocks, all the building blocks that are required to run the banking operations, be it your compute, be it your storage, be it the disaster recovery. But at the end of the day, it has to be a customized model. It can't be just like providing the entire set of hardware to you and you continue to run with it on possibly a 50% utilization, 40% utilization. That's what we have been seeing with the banks for the last 10 years, 15 years, right, on a dedicated model. Use it completely on an on-demand model, a completely elastic model. So essentially what I'm trying to tell you is that three things that you need to keep in mind. One is your connectivity, right? Because howsoever uptimes that we can talk about or claim about in the data centers, you need to have a robust connectivity, be it through the MPLS, be it through the internet, right? So just a few things. If you really look into it, this is where the whole, the activity happens out of the 6 large data centers that we have. This is the core of our proposition that I'm trying to tell you. We have the 6 mega data centers all across the country. We run our operations out of it. We run our computing out of it. We keep our NOCs, the security management, the security operations, everything being run out of it. And this is something around the disaster recovery as a service, something which I had told you, right? But what I wanted to come to you would be around this infrastructure management. I think we are very good in delivering projects. What happens after the projects, right? You need to have a sustainable model of getting this monitored and managed. It can only happen if it is running from a remote location, right? With experts, not people dependent, but process dependent. Process dependence is so very important for running operations. I think all of you will appreciate that. That can only happen if you're having the right set of tools, right set of people running from a remote location. That's what we are doing. And therefore, ours is a Make in India story. Ours is a story which is customized to your needs. And then we are there as your next door neighbor, right here in Bombay, with our data centers all across the country, to provide you all the services that you can see here, right? And the whole confidence that we speak with is primarily because we have delivered it. We have delivered it in almost all the cooperative banks. We have our presence with our data centers, with our disaster recovery centers, and therefore the most unique part that I can talk to you, especially about this community banking, something which we have mastered at, something which we are doing today, which is there readily available for you right here in Bombay. And then these are some of our customers with whom we have been doing this end-to-end services clearly on a pay-per-use model, on an elastic model, on an on-demand model, right? So that's all I'd like to talk to you on this, but just keep in mind that shared services model or community banking, especially for cooperative banks, is here to stay, right? Let's not talk about the traditional models of computing. That's past, that's gone. We need to leap and then take care of the third platform as IDC speaks about, The third platform, which utilizes what we call CAMS, some would say CAMS, some would say SMAC, right? Cloud Analytics, Mobility, and Security, right? That's all that I'd like to say, talk to you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Banerjee, for telling us about how SIFI is connecting with 10,000 plus public sector banks and 4,500 plus private banks, and with your servers to 5,000 plus public sector banks. It's a great achievement, and we hope that you continue that in future as well. To the next speaker, again with the request of wrapping it up within 10 minutes so that because we are running short of time, and also we get chance for interaction also. I request Mr. Rishikesh Jadhav, Regional Sales Manager, Array Networks India, to please address. Sir, please आइए और अपनी बात टेक्नोलॉजी को प्रदर्शित कीजिए. एक बार तालियों के साथ स्वागत किया जाए.
Well, thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank and congratulate Elite's team for putting on such a beautiful show, such a wonderful show. It has been a great value add, great speeches by seniors in the first half, okay? And one very important thing, cooperative banks, banks by the people, for the people, right? So I'm going to talk about, changing landscape of banking and banking in India, banking and IT in India. Okay, all of us have been talking about financial inclusion since morning. I think Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. PM has envisaged that every household should have a bank account. Every household should have a pension plan, should have a credit facility. 15% growth in internet adoption year on year. Okay, so I think 19% of Indians are using internet, but the internet adoption is growing at a rate of 15% year on year, which is a very high rate of growth. The Digital India program, so National Information Infrastructure, the program driven by Government of India, where Government of India thinks of having the Digital India, the India getting connected completely. So programs like NKN, National Knowledge Network, programs like optical fiber network, programs like SWAN, state-wide area networks are there in place, which will make sure that internet is available to each and every village. Okay, internet is available to each and every household, right? Mobile banking, we've been talking about mobile transactions today. Everyone of us are hooked on smartphones, right? So the mobile banking transactions are growing at the rate of 45% year on year, okay? So today, be it a cooperative bank, be it any bank, today banking has to happen anytime, okay, from any place and from any device, so that's something what, as bankers, we'll have to make sure. So some of the recent trends in the CBS, in the cooperative segment, is what we've seen is a CBS upgrade. I'm taking cue from Mr. Abir's input of having shared infrastructure services. So today, look at cloud. Today, you look at shared infrastructure services which are available, right? To leverage on that, it is very important, and to scale up to the ever-growing requirements, it is very important that we look at the CBS upgrade. I'm sure most of us have CBS upgrade things at the back of our mind, right? If we consider CBS upgrade, scaling up our network architecture is also very important, right? It is very important to be geared up for the mobile banking and the internet banking, because the number of transactions are just going to keep on increasing on mobile banking and internet banking, So the customer service, the customer experience today is very important. You talk about CBS in case if you do a web-based CBS, or you talk about internet banking, web or mobile banking. your end user response times or your end user experience is going to be very important, right? So, coming to, what we do, okay, so we fall into a segment, which is called as application delivery networking, okay? We talk about solutions which are from L4 to L7, okay? And how do we complement or we help banks scale up to these ever-growing requirements and to match up with these latest trends is what I'm going to talk about, okay? So these are the basic 3 product lines that we have, okay? So if you look at our product line APV series, application delivery controllers, okay? We talk about availability, we talk about scalability, we talk about performance, we talk about security. Okay, so this is one device, okay, which will make sure that all your resources are available all the time. Okay, this is basically a load balancing device, okay, which will make sure that you get 99.999% availability. So in case if your server goes down or your link is down or your application is not responding, okay, you fail over from one resource to the next available resource. Okay, in case if the complete DC goes down, you fail over from one data center to the other data center. It can be DC, it can be DR. Okay, we talk about scalability. Okay, we talk about performance. So this device acts like a web accelerator, okay, where your end user response times are improved by around 75 to 80%, right? So today, if we talk about internet banking, the number of hits which are going to come on your web servers are going to increase, okay, and your end user response time is going to matter, right? You look at the number of transactions which are increasing day by day. So, this device makes sure that, your end user response time is improved by around 75 to 80%. We talk about security. So this device is basically a reverse proxy device, okay, which sits before your web servers. All the connections comes on this device and it initiates a new connection to the backend server. So as per RBI guidelines or as per regulatory guidelines, it is very important to have a reverse proxy architecture in place, okay. So we talk about security over there. We talk about a web application firewall again on the same box. The next product which we have is a AG series SSL VPN device. So this device will make sure that we enable secure remote access, access from any handled device, okay, securely without installing any client, okay, and with a 2-factor authentication solution in place. So consider a CBS application, okay, where people are logging in and accessing from any device anywhere. This device will make sure that there is an encrypted tunnel which is formed from the end user, handled device or a laptop device to your data center where your applications are actually hosted with second level of authentication. So that device itself will act like a second level of authentication, or we have a full-fledged 2-factor authentication solution which will make sure that it's an authenticated user who's accessing. Then we have this, Accelera, okay, which improves your application response times and data transfer rates and improves your bandwidth utilization. So you have, say, a scenario where you have a DCDR in place and you want to improve your RPO and RTO. You want to improve your data replication time. Okay, this device will take care of that. So here are some of the unique solution offerings that we have. So one very important thing from an acceleration perspective, what we do is, offload your SSL certificate. Today, if you see, our certificates have become 2048-bit encrypted. When we talk about web-based applications, we actually install these SSL certificates on our web servers, okay? And the web server has to, perform this resource-intensive, encryption, decryption activity. So it will basically decrypt your SSL packet and, pass the HTTP request to the backend available resources, web servers or app servers. What we do is we install the SSL certificate on this device instead of installing it on a web server, okay? And make sure that, this resource-intensive activity is performed on our box instead of, doing it on the web servers. So that's a very unique thing. Like I told you, connection broker. So, as per compliance guidelines, connection broker or reverse proxy needs to be in front of the applications, okay? It has to be front-ending the applications, okay? One very important thing what we do is, IPv6 migration. I mean, I'm sure IPv6 compliance is, something which is, again, on our minds, okay? Everybody is looking at IPv6 compliance. And, IPv6 compliance talks about having, your customer-facing applications IPv6 ready. So this particular device which we have does exactly that. It allows your IPv6 IP schema to work along with your IPv4 applications or infrastructure which you have. So just by putting one device, okay, you can allow your IPv4 and IPv6 to coexist. VSAT optimization, I mean, financial inclusion, would include, opening branches at remote locations, where probably MPLS connectivity would not be feasible. Okay, so you would go for VSAT kind of technology where, VSAT latency is very high, so you would need optimization solutions. We also have a multi-authentication 2FA solution, again, as per RBI guidelines, to meet the two-way authentication. Now, if you look at a typical network, I mean, I think we all are familiar with this. This is a typical network that our banks might be having. Okay, so just to shortly give you a brief. Okay, where all our devices are placed. Okay, so if you look at link load balancer at a perimeter level. Okay, this device installed at a perimeter level does your link load balancing as well as your IPv6 compliance, so that your IPv6 packet is converted to IPv4 packet and sent to a backend web or app server. Okay, then you have ADC installed in your internet DMZ. Okay, for doing your internet banking or mobile banking. Okay, acceleration, load balancing. Okay, you have the same ADC in your intranet DMZ for doing core banking application load balancing or web acceleration. Okay, you have a WAN optimization solution, okay, which will, like I told you, which will improve your DCDR replication. You also have a GSLB solution, okay, where, so today, I mean, everyone has a challenge of doing a DR drill. All of us need to do a DR drill once in 3 months at least, okay. To do that DR drill, what we do is we request our DNS service provider to, change the A record, okay, and define DR A record, okay. What we can do is, we have a DNS resolution, solution available on the box, okay, which does something called as NAT64, NAT46, and, DCDR failover, okay. So your A records are resolved by this box, okay, and your automated DCDR failover happens. So, when you wish to do a DCDR failover, instead of going and informing a DNS service provider and he takes 48 hours, you can do it in 5 minutes. That is what you can do using a GSLB functionality. So we have multiple cooperative banks, okay, almost every cooperative bank we are trying to approach them and have an install base. Okay, this is one case study, okay, where a cooperative bank was doing their CBS upgrade from a legacy client server architecture to a web-based CBS architecture. Major challenge which they had was they were looking at a high availability, scalability, and acceleration solution. Okay, DCDR failover, like I told you, was again a challenge for internet-facing applications. IPv6 compliance was a challenge. Okay, how do they comply to the IPv6 guidelines? Okay, to maintain the RPO and RTO for database replication traffic between DC and DR was again a challenge. Okay, and slow application response while accessing applications through branches again was a challenge. So the solutions which we gave was Array APV series, okay, the hardware, and a WAN optimization solution, okay, which made sure that the applications are available always, like I told you, by doing the load balancing solution, okay, failover from one available resource to the other available resource. Okay, 75 to 80% improvement in the end user response time of web-based applications. Okay, automated DCDR failover using GSLB functionality on Array ADC. Array IPv6 gateway again ensured that the compliance to the regulatory guidelines is matched by doing DNS64 and NAT64. WAN optimization solution makes sure that your data DCDR replication is improved by around 75 to 80%. This is again one case study of a large PSU bank, okay, where it was a SAP application, and it was a SAP web-based application, SAP HRMS, where around 350,000 employees accessed the application at the same time, and again the same acceleration plus scalability solution was useful for them. These are some of our named cooperative banking customers. Some of them are present here. We are very proud to have them, and they are highly referenceable customers. Right, so different platforms, different scenarios, we've installed our solution. Short brief about our company. It's a US-based company founded in 2000. Okay, headquartered in Milpitas, California. Okay, like I told you, we are into application delivery networking market. Okay, having 3 products: ADC, WAN optimization, and secure remote access. Okay, we have 30+ patents in technology. So SSL offloading being our forte. You know, we have around 30+ patents in SSL offloading. 5,000+ customers worldwide, and 400+ employees. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jadhav, for sharing, especially for sharing case studies of your organization working with multi-state cooperative banks, PSU banks, and others in the state and across the nation. But I just have this, that if you are working with cooperative banks are working at a very ground level. So language might be a barrier. So your maybe we'll have a discussion when a Q&A will happen. So like people like me, layman people, and even might not be all the bankers are very tech savvy. So how do you explain them less in technical way and more in the layman's way? So for next speakers, I'll request that if your presentation is more in a layman's language or maybe in their own language, or Marathi, or so or in any language, but little simpler. So that will be my request. So with again with the request of respecting the time limit of 10 minutes, I'll request a very interesting speaker, Mr. Gautam Garodia, who is CEO of ComSir, for an address. Please have a round of applause for him.
मराठीत बोलणार. हात उंच करा. मराठी कॉमन. ओके, मराठी हिंदी मिक्स. इट्स ओनली फेअर. आणि नाहीतर मोदी साहेब सारखा थोडासा गुजराती पण बोलणार. व्हॉट आय एम गोइंग टू स्पीक ऑन, एकच हेतू आहे माझा. हा मॅगझिन आहे आपल्याकडे सगळ्यांकडे. मला 10 मिनिटाची गरज नाही आहे नुसतं इतकं मेसेज डिलिव्हर करायला की CCTV जे लावतात ते पूर्ण नाही आहे, ते पुरे नव्हे. आपण सकाळपासनं डिजिटल सिक्युरिटी, बँकिंग सिक्युरिटी सगळंच बोललो, सगळंच ऐकलं. सेफ्टी ऑफ सेल्फ का कोणी नाही बोललं? शेवटी we want ourselves, our customers, our assets to be safe. And all of you have CCTV systems in your banks. प्रत्येक कड़ानकड़े है, सबके पास है, और सब ये समझते हैं कि CCTV लगाने से सब कुछ काम हो गया. अगर ये सही है तो ये मुझे बताइए कि स्मृति ईरानी जी की घटना कैसे घटी थी. अब मैं कुछ आपको उदाहरण देने वाला हूं, काही गोष्ट बोलणार आहोत. That is not necessary related to banks. पण फिलॉसॉफी सेम आहे. CCTV जर पुरा असलं तर ही घटना कशी झाली? ह्या घटनात काय झालं होतं? गोवामध्ये कॅमेरा होता, ते कॅमेरा नुसतं चेंज करून टाकला, डिरेक्शन चेंज करून टाकला. 4 महिन्यापर्यंत कोणाला कळलं नाही की जी रेकॉर्डिंग होत होता तिकडे, ते रेकॉर्डिंग चेंजिंग रूम मध्ये जे जात होते त्याच्यात सगळं रेकॉर्डिंग जाऊन रेकॉर्डर मध्ये बसलं होतं. आता ते रेकॉर्डिंगचं कोणी काय दुरुपयोग केला ते सांगता येत नाही. पण आता पोलिसांनी कोणाला धरलंय? मॅनेजिंग डायरेक्टरला. व्हॉट डज द पोलीस से? द पोलीस सेज दैट नोबडी वाज मॉनिटरिंग द कैमरा For 1 year, 1 साल से कोई वो कैमरा के सामने नहीं देख रहा था. तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि CCTV लगाने से आपका काम नहीं हो जाता है. पेट्रोलियम मिनिस्ट्री दिल्ली में कैमरा का जो ऑपरेटर था वो मिला हुआ था उनके साथ में. तो रोज रात को, ये करीब 1 महीना घटना घड़ी, रोज रात को वो कैमरा बंद कर देता था. ये लोग आते थे, फोटोकॉपी करते थे सीक्रेट डॉक्यूमेंट्स के और उठा के चले जाते थे और वो फिर वो कैमरा शुरू कर देता था। हमारे बंबई में वकोला पुलिस स्टेशन में एक शूट आउट हुआ, करीब 2 महिने हो गए उस बात को, 2 महिने झाले। त्याच्यात काय झालं, एका इन्स्पेक्टरने दुसऱ्या इन्स्पेक्टरला मारून टाकलं। त्याच्या बाहेर कॅमेरा होता। साहेब, आपल्याला एक गोष्ट माहित असेल, मुंबईमध्ये घडलेली होती। कॅमेरा होता बाहेर, इन्स्पेक्टरच्या कॅबिनच्या बाहेर, पण कॅमेरा चालत नव्हता। मग मला सांगा की सीसीटीव्ही लावून उपयोग काय झाला? आता ही घटना शाळेची आहे। ह्या शाळेमध्ये मोठी स्कूल आहे, काय 100 कॅमेरा आहे, पण तिथे काय झालं, ही मोलेस्टेशन केस झाला होता आणि तिथे काय झालं, रेकॉर्डर मधलं फुटेजच भेटलं नाही। रेकॉर्डर चालू होता, रेकॉर्डर चोरी झाला नाही, पण रेकॉर्डरचं फुटेजच भेटलं नाही। का नाही भेटलं? कारण जो माणूस ज्यांनी हा काम केला तो हुशार होता। Can you just put that on? Somebody here? Yeah, just control F5. Here's your control F. Hang on. No. Yeah. रेल्वे स्टेशनला ड्यूरिंग किडनॅप केस सीसीटीव्ही कॅमेराच्या ची जी क्वालिटी होती दॅट वॉज व्हेरी हेझी, कारण कोणी कॅमेरा साफ केले नव्हते। बीएसटीच्या बसेसमध्ये सीसीटीव्ही कॅमेरा लावलेले, कोणाला माहित नाही की ते रेकॉर्डिंग होत आहे की नाही। हॉस्पिटलमधनं नर्सचा ड्रेस घालून बायका आले आणि बेबीला स्टील करून निघून गेले। आता ही बँकेची घटना नाहीये, पण हे सगळं तुमच्या बँकेमध्ये होऊ शकतं। तुम्ही कॅमेरा लावलेले आहे कुठल्या, आय वॉज स्पीकिंग टू सम बँक्स हियर, सम बँक्स हॅव 40-50 ब्रांचेस, सम हॅव 60-70 ब्रांचेस, दे ऑल हॅव 10-12-15 कॅमेराज, बट डज एनीबडी लुक इन टू दीज कॅमेरा सिस्टम्स? शेवटी हा एक लय इंटरेस्टिंग केस आहे। एका ज्वेलरला माणूस आला आतमध्ये, त्याच्याबरोबर झेवला, त्याचा खून केला, 12 लाख रुपयाची चोरी केली आणि हार्ड डिस्क घेऊन नासला। आता पोलिसांनी हा केस सॉल्व्ह केलाय की नाही ते मला माहित नाही, पण हाऊ इज इट पॉसिबल? बिकॉज यू डोंट हॅव एव्हिडन्स। कुठे आहे एव्हिडन्सच नाही? जर व्हिडिओज गेला तर एव्हिडन्स कुठे? ही घटना बँकेची आहे ते पहा। नॉर्थ इंडियामध्ये एटीएम, त्या लोकांना माहित होता की कॅमेरा चालू नाहीये आणि पोलीस स्टेशन 200 मीटरच्या बँक आणि पोलीस स्टेशन मध्ये 200 मीटरचा डिस्टन्स होता, येट दे वर एबल टू रॉब। पेशावर, we all know what happened in Peshawar. Again, nothing to do with cameras this time, but we all know what happened in Peshawar. And when this school reopened, the Pakistan army is guarding this school. When there were shootout in Paris, what happened in the shopping center, the 10,000 policemen have been brought to protect 700 Jewish schools. In India, we have 1.5 million schools. The moral of the story, the case that I am trying to build, is that CCTV is not enough. There is talk of an internal security act in Maharashtra that is being thought of on the lines of the Andhra Pradesh Internal Security Act, की लोकांनी स्वतःची सुरक्षासाठी जास्त काम करावं लागेल. पुलिस cannot do everything. You have to make sure, आपको खुद को ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि आप किस प्रकार की आपकी खुद की सुरक्षा बढ़ा सकते हैं, और कोई बड़ी चीज नहीं है इसके अंदर. आपने खुद ने कैमरा तो लगा दिए हैं, मगर जो उसके बाद का जो काम करना है वो आप नहीं कर रहे. वो करना जरूरी है, और आप क्यों नहीं कर रहे उसके भी कारण है. आई डोंट ब्लेम यू. उसके भी कारण है क्योंकि ऐसी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है आज तक कि जो आपको वो काम करने में आसान कर दे. तो क्या काम करना आपको? सिर्फ तीन चीज करनी है. सीसीटीवी को रोज देखिए। डेली सीसीटीवी रिव्यू आपको देखना ही चाहिए। आपको उसका बैकअप कहीं और स्टोर करना ही चाहिए। और अगर कोई घटना घटती है तो पुलिस को मदद करने के लिए एक स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड इंसिडेंट रिपोर्ट बना के पुलिस को दीजिए पावर पॉइंट में, ताकि आपकी घटना जल्दी सॉल्व हो जाए। ओके? डेली सीसीटीवी को स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर है। बैंकों में बहुत स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसेसेस होते हैं, एक इसको और प्रोसीजर बना दीजिए। पर एक प्रश्न यह आता है कि सीसीटीवी को रिव्यू क्यों नहीं करता है कोई? क्योंकि अगर आपको 24 घंटे का सीसीटीवी देखना है, फुटेज देखना है, तो आपको 24 घंटा बैठना पड़ेगा उसके सामने देखने के लिए। पर अगर ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी हो कि वो 24 घंटे का डेटा आपको 1 घंटे में दिखा दे, तो आप नहीं करेंगे क्या? जरूर करेंगे। और क्यों करेंगे? क्योंकि आपकी सुरक्षा बढ़ा रहा है, ये आपके स्टाफ की सुरक्षा बढ़ा रहा है, आपके कस्टमर्स की सुरक्षा बढ़ा रहा है, आपके एसेट्स की सुरक्षा बढ़ा रहा है। तो क्यों नहीं करेंगे आप? आपने देखा होगा दुनिया भर में अलग अलग प्रकार के साइंस होते हैं। This area is under CCTV surveillance. There is no standardization of signage. हम ये कहते हैं कि एक स्टैंडर्ड अडॉप्ट करिए। Instead of saying you are under CCTV surveillance, you should have a signage that says we check CCTV every day. ये बहुत बड़ा स्टेटमेंट है। सर्वांच्या सुरक्षासाठी ह्या प्रकारचा बोर्ड लावा। आम्ही सर्वांच्या सुरक्षासाठी सीसीटीव्हीची समीक्षा नेहमी आणि रोज करतो। आणि नंतर पहा की तुमच्याकडे चोऱ्या किती कमी होतात, तुमचा स्टाफ कसा व्यवस्थित काम करायला सुरुवात करतो। नुसतं हे चेंज करायचं आहे आणि थोडी मेहनत करा, दिवसाला एक अर्धा तास 1 तास द्या, सीसीटीव्ही रोज रिव्ह्यू करा, आणि मी सांगतो तुम्हाला क्राइम कमी होणार, लॉस कमी होणार, तुमचं प्रीमियम इन्शुरन्स कंपनीचा प्रीमियम कमी होणार। आणि एकत्र आज आपण कोऑपरेटिव्ह सिस्टमची गोष्ट केली इकडे, नाशिकमध्ये गेल्या आठवड्यात किंवा 2 आठवड्यापूर्वी 2 कोटी रुपयाची चोरी झाली, त्यांच्याकडे कॅमेरा सुद्धा नव्हते। परंतु आजूबाजूच्या जर दुकानामध्ये कॅमेरा असते तर पोलीस काय करते, ते जाऊन तिकडची फुटेज घेऊन हे करतात। आता तुम्ही काय करतात, जर आमचं हे सोल्युशन लावलं, तुम्ही पोलिसांचं काम कमी करणार, आणि त्यांचं जर काम कमी केलं तर तुमचं क्राइम लवकर सॉल्व्ह होईल, आणि तुमचं क्राइम जर लवकर सॉल्व्ह झालं तर तुमचे प्रीमियम कमी होणार। दिस इज फायनली यू आर इन्क्रीजिंग कस्टमर सॅटिस्फॅक्शन। What we are also suggesting that you adopt a method of standardizing incident reports. प्रत्येक बैंक मध्ये प्रत्येक बैंक नहीं, I am saying any institution, everywhere you go, there are some incidents that take place, not necessarily criminal, but you must learn from incidents. या होटेल मध्ये कोणी पडलं तर ती घटना आहे, कोणाची पाकिट मारली घटना आहे। यू शुड बी एबल टू नो की ह्या आपल्या बँकेमध्ये शुक्रवारच्या दिवशी सोलापूरच्या ब्रांच मध्ये दुपारी 3 आणि 4 मध्ये ह्या प्रकारची घटना घडते, त्याला आपण इंटेलिजन्स म्हणतो। आणि जर तुम्हाला ह्या प्रकारचा इंटेलिजन्स भेटला, ह्या प्रकारचे ग्राफ भेटले, तर तुम्हाला करेक्टिव्ह आणि प्रिव्हेंटिव्ह ऍक्शन घेता येणार। हे सगळंच आहे तुमच्याकडे। छोटासा सॉफ्टवेअर, छोटी सी टेक्नॉलॉजी आहे, काय हाय फंडा नाही आहे, तुमचे एक्झिस्टिंग कॅमेरा बरोबर चालणार। दिस इज ओनली अ सॉफ्टवेअर which works with all your existing systems. Cameras that you may have purchased 5 years ago, cameras that you'll purchase in the next 5 years, I can assure you it'll work. It works with every type of camera. Take a look, what else does the software do besides review and for example, you'll be able to create these kind of lists very quickly. Suspected criminals, we are talking about cooperation. आता एका बँक नाशिकमध्ये समजा काही चोरी झाली आणि काही तुम्हाला सस्पेक्टेड लोक भेटली, तर शेअर इट विद इन युअर बँक्स, शेअर इट विद इन महाराष्ट्र, शेअर इट विथ द महाराष्ट्र police. You can make lists like guard lists. So it's a very multifaceted software which will help you prevent crime, prevent losses, improve your processes and give you intelligence. I'm right on time. In conclusion, I only want to tell you that act now. घटना घडण्याची वाट पाहू नका. Thank you very much.
सही वक्त पे सही शब्दों में और सही बात आपने कही गरोडिया साहब, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया उसके लिए. ऊपर वाला सब देखता है पर हम कितना देखते हैं. आई थिंक that's what you want to put the point forth in this on the stage. Thank you very much, Mr. Garodia. Now the last presentation of this session, and but not the least, a very famous, popular and very respected company, Quick Heal Tech Private Limited, and we have the Vice President of Research and Development with us here, Mr. Vivek Tujlapurkar. Sir, I request you to please give a technology presentation by Quick Heal, and a round of applause for Mr. Vivek, please.
So good afternoon, everybody. It seems I'm the last person standing between you and lunch. So I'm going to try to be brief. We say we like to take good care of our customers. And I think taking good care of your customers also means not making them wait for lunch for a long time when they're hungry and it's lunchtime, right? So I'm not going to go into nitty-gritties of bits and bytes. That's something we do in our office. We do all that mud wrestling. Just some things about the banking sector and how technology applies there. Now, as you all know, Quick Heal is in the security business. So we don't, so our job mainly is to keep you and your operations safe. So let me just give you some basic statistics. So the last 12 months, the total financial loss was 24,000 crores. And then there are a bunch of other statistics you can see about how much of a hassle it is for people to recover from that and how much productivity loss there was. If you look at the distribution of cyber attacks by sector, what you will see is the BFSI sector has been the one that's most affected. Oops. Okay. Hopefully this won't crash and will let me continue. The BFSI sector is the one that's most affected, and this reminds me of a 150-year-old story. Back in the wild, wild American West, there was a bank robber who used to keep robbing banks. Of course, those days there was no cyber thing, right? So what he used to do is go to a bank with gun and point the gun at the cashier and say, "Give me all your money," right? Then take the money and flee. So eventually, the police caught him. And some guy asked him, some police inspector asked him, "Why do you keep robbing the banks?" And his answer was, "Because that's where the money is." No, you're all banks. You are all the people that have the money. That's why you're being attacked. Next year, or rather this year, 2015, we expect that we will have more than 3 lakh cybercrime incidences in India. And if I can get this computer to work, we can do the rest of the presentation. Maybe this computer wants you to have an early lunch. I don't know. So, can you please help? Okay, let's continue. So, I pressed the same key again, nothing happened. I pressed it like 4 times, it didn't do anything. I hope this PC is not infected by viruses. Do you have Quick Heal on this PC? This won't have happened if you did. Okay, so we had Charaigavkar sir here, and he spoke very eloquently about Dudhari Shastra, right? Double-edged sword, as we call it. So our view is the same. Okay, technology can be a boon or it can be a bane. It's a question of how you use it. We as a company, our goal is to जे दुसरी भाग असते तलवारीची जी बेन असते जे शस्त्र जी धार आपल्याला त्रास देते ती धार घालवायची. This is what we do. What we try to do is to prevent that talwar from hurting you and let it go conquer your enemies or conquer your battles. So that is our main goal here. I won't go into all the lists of cyber. There are different types of cyber threats, and we all know that viruses, spam mails, malware, etc., etc. And some of the challenges we are facing are, number one, tracking the origin of the crime. There is way too much pirated software being used in the world. I think it's a very, very big challenge because pirated software is one great way for people to get into your computers and do all sorts of things that they shouldn't be doing. And then there is also a very big shortage of skilled cybercrime fighters. Not too long ago, we met with the person who is the head of cybercrime unit in Pune Police. We are cooperating with them as a company. There was a very, very knowledgeable gentleman who is in charge of Pune Police Cybercrime Cell. And we were very impressed when we met him. But one of the problems, and the Commissioner of Police was also there with him. And we had a broader discussion than just Pune local area things. And one of the things he said to us was, we really need to do this all across Maharashtra. And of course, that can be extrapolated very easily to other parts of India. But availability of good crime fighters, cyber crime fighters, is a very big issue. I'll quickly go over this 5 points of vulnerability. Where are your IT systems vulnerable? Number one, if you look at the top, and I'm going to go clockwise from there, so there is endpoint security for data protection. Every PC needs to be protected. And our EPS product, our antivirus products, they keep your PC safe and they let you manage your PCs from a central location. You have a big fat pipe, whether you are doing business via some sort of a cloud platform or whether you have your own products in-house or whatever way you do it. All of us have a big fat internet pipe coming into our facilities, right? There is all kinds of data coming in, all kinds of data going out. How do you monitor that? You need a gatekeeper. You need a security guard that will make sure that only those people, just that the CCTV camera thing we just talked about, right? I mean, you're monitoring people going in, coming in, going out, etc. Similarly, you need to watch the data. And then most of you have multiple offices. There are very few banks out there that has just one office in the world, right? There is data going back and forth between these offices, which means there is another place where people can tap in and do funny things. So you also need that pipe, or those pipes rather, to be protected. Now you have all kinds of things happening lately, all sorts of secure online gateways and all kinds of mobile, credit card transactions, all those types of things. All of those need to be protected. And finally, inside your company, you have all your vital data. And that data, so we talk a lot about external threats. When you talk to people about cyber security, we will get all sorts of things being discussed about external threats to your company. You also have a possibility of internal threats. You have to make sure there is no malicious employee inside your company who is sending your vital data outside. And that is the DLP solution, data loss prevention. Top security risks, mobile banking is increasing in adoption. Everybody is targeting. All the cyber criminals right now are just salivating at the thought of mobile banking. Phishing attacks, directing you through fake sites, having emails that contain viruses where you will open and then you will, bad things will happen to you. Targeted attacks on banks themselves. I mean, people are getting more and more sophisticated. This game is no longer about some hacker trying to steal 500 rupees from my bank account, folks. This game now is about some targeted attacks. People who will go into your bank and clean out your entire bank. That is the kind of stuff people are aiming for now. And Internet of Things, right? So until now, we only had computers and computers. Now, all of a sudden, there will be a microchip inside your fridge. There will be a microchip inside your air conditioning, and that will be capable of doing things, okay? And so that is another point of infiltration where people could actually use that against you. And how to counter security risks. So we work with a lot of SMB type of organizations, including banks. And one thing we see all the time is that the smaller organizations do not have the capability to go out and hire like CISOs, right? If you go into ICICI Bank probably has a chief information security officer and a large organization working with him to manage the security of ICICI Bank. One possibility I would urge all of you to consider is to cooperate with each other, because you're all facing very similar challenges. And maybe put together your heads and your resources, and maybe you can come up with some sort of a collaborative solution to keep each other safe. Investment in security equipment and software is an absolute must. Once there is a breach, then your reputation is gone. And then our MC here said a beautiful poem earlier. And that poem and the last speaker's discussion reminded me of Doha, right? Ab pachtaye ka hot jab chidiya chug gayi khet. Educate your customers. This is very, 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 very important. Okay, your customers, if they are not educated, they could do funny things that will create trouble for you. If your customers are well educated, they are your partners in maintaining your security. Enroll your customers as your partners. Educate them, use their knowledge and expertise and everything they have, use the way they do business to keep your bank safe. And actively monitor threats. Not just external, but internal. Like I said earlier, use the DLP solution. So we are not going to go into all sorts of details here, just one example of what it means to deal with the increasing mobile banking security threats. Number one, use official applications. If you're a bank, you have your own application, maybe there is some other way of getting into your bank and doing some transactions. Avoid those types of things. Avoid using banking apps when you're on public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi offers no security. You can easily tap into the signal and try to figure out what data is going back and forth. Avoid links and attachment. Links and attachment are the best way to get people into trouble, the best way to breach somebody's security infrastructure. Always log out. After you're done with whatever you're doing, don't leave the thing open. Never store banking information on your phone. Secure your phone with a password and use some sort of a mobile app, a mobile security app that's from a reputed vendor. So this is an example of the kinds of things you can do to educate your customers on various types of things they need to do. We have more than 300 banks in India, cooperative banks as our customers. We have more than 15 Maharashtra alone. What did we learn? They require proactive, flexible, and prompt support from us. So we have our processes. We can do things in a process-driven way, but when a customer comes to us, we first take care of the customer. The process is there to help the customer. The process is not there to stop the customer from getting the help he needs. We talked about this earlier. Smaller organizations have cost pressures, availability of resources. If you're a bank in Pune, it's very easy to hire some people. Okay. If you're a bank in Nanded, or you're a bank in Bid or Latur, or not just in Maharashtra, any part of the country, it's a hell of a lot harder to hire a security professional. So we do all sorts of things, provide them help with initial installations, make the upgrade processes as easy as possible, provide them technical training, try to manage things from a centralized, there are a whole bunch of things. And many others that I have not mentioned here. And connectivity is a very big issue. What should not happen is if your connectivity goes down, your business has come to a grinding halt. And DLP. Thank you very much. Have a great and filling lunch. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vivek, for your presentation, which includes not only the product showcase, but security tips, and thanks for sharing your expertise and experience with us. Thank you. And I would request now, if I may request respected Cooperative Commissioner to present mementos to our eminent speakers on stage. And sir, I welcome you and I request my team to get the mementos. We will start with Mr. Gautam Garodia, CEO of Comsur, and for his very interesting and nice presentation. A round of applause for Mr. Garodia. Then we have Mr. Vivek Tuljapurkar, Vice President of Quick Heal. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing the security tips with us. Then we have Mr. Rishikesh Jadhav, a young and corporate personality, gave a very interesting presentation of Array Networks, Regional Sales Manager. Then we have Mr. Abir Banerjee, Vice President of Sifi Technologies. A round of applause for Mr. Banerjee, please. Last but not the least, Mr. George Verghese, Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing, Vsoft Technologies, our silver partner, Vsoft. Thank you. And